right. As everybody files in, we'll give them a chance to get their audio connected and get settled, maybe grab their coffee. I have mine. And we'll just give it another minute or so, and then we'll jump right in. Looks like we already have some chat as well. All right. Hello, everyone. Glad that everybody is able to join us. We've got US online. We've got Brazil online. We've got folks dialing in from all over. So this is really cool.
Hey, also
India. Wow.
Quite late for India, I guess.
Yeah, I would think so. All right.
Darmstadt, that's closer.
I was just going to say Darmstadt, I know there.
I already see that will be the most global call I had today. That's already.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Poland and Belgium and India, Brazil. We've got different areas on the East Coast in the US.
And Gorgsheimertal. We should not forget Gorgsheimertal. That's for sure.
I wasn't even sure how to say that one.
And this is a special one, actually. There's a special story behind the Gorgsheimertal, I can tell you. There's a nice story around a nice beer in that area. So Peter,
I'm all ears.
Peter, I will not forget that one. I have to admit. That's actually a fun joke. Actually, it's not even a joke. It's a reality. With Peter, actually, I had a phenomenal session, and then we actually talked about the good old days. And then Peter asked me a question, and he said, "Look, Thomas, I mean, think about it with the company codes. How many digits did the company code had in R2 versus R3? The number of the company code digits." And I lost the bet, unfortunately, for sure. So Peter, this one is for you. And it was then basically a bucket of beer, so to say, as a winning thing. So true story, pictures behind that one. So a real story. So you see the community is important, absolutely.
Absolutely, very cool. All right, it looks like we actually have quite a few already dialed in. The chat is already alive, which is fantastic. Welcome everybody to our SAP Community Call with our very special guest. Thomas has joined us. He's here to talk. It is an open Q&A round. We will take as many questions as we can. If we can't get to your question, though, we will follow up in the SAP community afterwards with as many more questions as we can get to. We've had some questions come in through social media. I've got screens and notes here and everything like that. So we should have plenty of questions, but we're really excited to be able to answer all of them that we can. So if you have questions, please be ready to throw them out at us. We're really excited about this. It's not often that we get to have such illustrious guests joining us like this and in such a casual environment. So I'm really thankful for this, Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the call.
No, also hello and a warm welcome from my side. Really looking forward to the engagement and to all the questions you might have. Yeah.
All right. So I did want to start the call off a little bit to give you a few minutes there to talk about things that are present of mind for you, things that are upcoming, things that you would like people to be aware of and everything like that. And then, of course, as the folks have questions, they can already start entering those questions now. We will, again, get to as many as we can. I'll do my best. Unfortunately, if you notice, my angle is a little bit different. I'm off working on an iPad due to a technical glitch at the very last minute. I think there's a screenshot, speaking of pictures, of me going, "Oh," and the screen was frozen. So hopefully Manina keeps that one secret. But Thomas, I would love to just give you that time now. And by all means, we are all ears.
Perfect. No, then also, first of all, thanks again so much for joining the call. I really, truly always appreciate the engagement with the community to get all your questions. That's the reason I want to keep it extremely brief, because it's your time. It's about the question. I mean, there's no audience which is better prepared to all the detailed topics like you are. And that's the reason I don't need to explain a lot of things. But what I actually want to do to give you a little glimpse into what happened the last things, a little bit what is out of my mind, and then we directly jump into the Q&A to make the most time for you actually, to make it valuable. Today is actually a very special day for SAP because of two reasons. First of all, we have our first people day at SAP, which is basically a day where every employee and everybody has sufficient time, a full day, thinking about the goals and how they are connected, and to really get energized for the year. And I think that's very important, because in the end of the day, you all know software is a people business, and that's why we also today celebrate a full day of focus on that topic. And then also a topic which is dear to my heart, and many of you know, I talk a lot about sustainability and how important that topic is. And just today, we also announced actually that SAP as a company itself is actually accelerate our ambition to become carbon neutral to actually 2023. So an acceleration by 2 years. So in 2023, SAP will be carbon neutral. And I think that's a big thing. And I hope that many companies will follow that example and accelerate their goals and ambitions which they had. And yeah, just also want to call that out. In general, I think
that is amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Let's get everybody behind that, absolutely. And imagine if the 400,000 customers of SAP, everybody would accelerate by 2 years their ambition. I think that would be a big topic for the world. And then, I mean, last year, if I just recall, I mean, in the end of the day, last year was a year of transformation. We changed the organizational structure of SAP upside down to get into functional setup. We actually elevated our product strategy. We also adjusted our financial ambition actually, because to enable the strategy and to enable the product strategy, and also to really set the foundation for the future customer success. And that was like the North Star of that, which means having done all of that, you've seen actually the announcements we did beginning of the year with RISE with SAP, the acquisition of Signavio, AppGyver and others, where you clearly see how we actually really doubled down on our product strategy, on our products and our portfolio to really set the foundation for the future. And so this year is all about execution, and we are in the big time into that. I'm already looking forward to all the announcements at Sapphire. And yeah, will be for sure also this year a busy year. And also one thing, what I want to give a big shout out to everybody of you, because I think also what we really need is your feedback, your continuous structural feedback which we get. And you can be assured we listen carefully and then embrace that also in our activities. And that's the reason why I'm so happy to have this opportunity today to engage with all of you. And again, you are the deepest experts anyway with all of SAP. So I don't want to now give you a kind of 5 minutes pitch about RISE with SAP. You know all of that, but I'm actually also, I don't want to just use that time for RISE with SAP or something like that. Let's really open up to all the topics you have on your plate. I mean, this is really your time. So please feel free to reach out to any topic which is on top of your mind with regards to SAP. That's why I'm here. So again, looking forward to the engagement. I think, Craig, we should directly open up for Q&A.
I will be happy to open up for Q&A. The Q&A is there live for everybody. You can also vote. So keep getting the questions flowing. The very first one here is, how does SAP S/4HANA on-premise, and of course, fit into the RISE program? I know you just said you don't want to focus just on RISE, but it is top of mind apparently.
Absolutely. So with regards to RISE, actually the key aspect of that program is to really help our customers on their journey and help in the business transformation itself. So now I, for myself, was a CIO of SAP, basically close to a decade in the IT function of SAP. And having this example and experience also with the customer situation based on my consulting days with SAP, I think one thing is absolutely clear. We want to help our customers, all of our customers. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Having said that, what does that mean? We need to reflect the reality. And the reality is there are complex system environments, and especially in our installed base where customers have decades of work in their respective ERP system with custom code modifications, customization. So we have complex systems, and we need to also recognize the point of departure. Having said that, that exactly means that with RISE, we offer S/4HANA Cloud, basically in 2 flavors. S/4HANA Cloud pure public cloud, especially all net new customers, everybody who wants to really standardize, to embrace this version. But for sure, we also want to offer a private edition, which is leveraging, for instance, the on-premise code line for S/4HANA, that you are able to take your landscape and your complexities also in the new world, and then have this continuous journey together with us, leveraging, for instance, our business process intelligence layer to continuously optimize the processes, get more to standard over time. But we are realistic enough that this is nothing which is going from one day to the other. I mean, I talk to customers which have 60, 70 productive ERP systems since 20 years. This is nothing which you turn over into a complete standard public cloud from one day to the other. And we want to recognize that. And that's the reason, again, why for sure we have the S/4HANA Cloud, but also the private edition as part of RISE in the joint offering what RISE offers in this regards.
Okay. All right, so several more questions are popping in. The next one here at the top, we are partnering with GCP and Azure for hyperscalers and utilization of our LOB solutions to be hosted in their platform. On the other side, we are providing BTP as the platform to go for our customers. What is the exact directional strategy? Are we truly competing with Microsoft and Google with BTP?
That's actually a very interesting question, because I think it's a very deep question. To answer that question, let me go tackle that from various angles, if you allow. Because if we talk about Microsoft and Google, I think that's even too generic. Because for sure, first of all, let me be clear. I mean, SAP is not an infrastructure as a service company. We are not a provider of public cloud infrastructure as a service. What we actually offer is applications and platforms on top of infrastructures. For sure, we also have our own infrastructure with our own data centers for customers who prefer that setting for various reasons, all regional situations. But for sure, we also embrace Microsoft, Google, AWS, but also Ali Cloud as infrastructure as a service partners. And we have very strategic partnerships with all of these companies. But for sure, the situation is for sure more complex. And if you just think Microsoft as an example, and we just launched also a big announcement in January with Microsoft, with Teams and integration, how we bring that together. But also Microsoft, we need to depict that a little bit. You have Azure as an infrastructure as a service platform, but you also have the Power Platform of Microsoft. And for sure, if you think about the Power Platform, yes, I consider that as a competition towards our business technology platform. That's the reason why we believe with our applications, like with the SAC, like with our extension and integration suite, that we absolutely, and with our no-code, low-code abilities, that we for sure have competition in this regards, with regards to Microsoft in Power. On Azure as an infrastructure layer, I would not take this as a direct comparison and competition in this regard. So that's the reason why we need to be very precise, I guess, in this discussion. How we want to leverage the business technology platform as a company from an own, and I'm responsible for business applications of SAP. Basically, all new applications which we build are built on the business technology platform. That's a clear strategy from us. We absolutely go that path. But for sure, we also recognize that some of the applications we have in our portfolio, also coming from acquisitions, certainly we will not re-platform them from one day to the other. But for sure, we leverage all the goodness of the business technology platform for all the integration purposes. We standardize on the one domain model. We leverage the integration suite to bring that across all of our applications. And for sure, leveraging HANA beneath our application and the like. So we take it step by step and converge over time, making use out of these services which are available on the business technology platform. And again, if you build something new, it's anyway on the business technology platform in a modular fashion, and that's how we embrace it. And for sure, the ambition is clear that with the business technology platform as a clear integration and extensibility platform for SAP itself, that also for sure we hope that many partners and customers embrace that to easily extend our application portfolio and to work on differentiating capabilities on top. And also, to be quite honest, one important topic for us is, in order to, when we talk about keeping the core clean, why do we talk about that? So in the case of S/4HANA, for sure, we have a year on the on-premise side in the house, we have a yearly development cycle and for sure feature packs. There's so much innovation which is coming. And what we clearly want to do is actually to help every customer to have kind of an evergreen approach, to be really on the latest version, to be able to consume these innovations. This is important. That you can embrace that easier. The upgrade cycle is critical. And the more custom and modifications you have in the system with SPDD and SPAO, this is getting more complex. And that's the reason why keeping the core clean, doing the extensions on the cloud platform is a key aspect to keep the code lifecycle management intact, that you can upgrade more easily. And that's actually why we have such a high interest actually in having the right architectural patterns in place for our customers to embrace these new innovations which we deliver. And so that's the reason why BTP is actually an essential piece in our strategy to become that successful.
All right. Very good. And folks, we want to try something a little bit new. If you'd like to actually ask your question personally, if you could raise your hand in the system, we will actually unmute you so you can ask your question. So if you would like to actually join us on the voice part of the call, you're welcome to do that as well. And while you guys think about that and consider it, I will jump on to the very next question. This one, I'm going to assume it's directed to you, Thomas. It says, what are Thomas's short-term and long-term goals for S/4HANA?
I think it's interesting to say Thomas's short-term and long-term goals. I guess it's a SAP ambition and SAP goals for S/4HANA, I guess. No, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, S/4HANA is our flagship product in the ERP arena. I mean, that's clear. And for sure, we need to take enterprise software in general to the next level. And it sounds now a little bit buzzy, but it's really, we have the ambition to rethink and really reimagine the processes. And that's actually what we do now, leveraging on the one hand side technologies like AI to really reimagine how a process actually looks like. Because it's not just about automation and something like that. It's really also the entire user experience need to shift into more an analytic-driven approach, to drive from analytics to actions, to get into situations. And you see more with S/4HANA on the situation handling front. And that also is something, if you think about mobile, and we will release in Sapphire a native mobile application again across the portfolio, that basically all of our applications send a notification to get your attention in the moment where you need it, to accelerate the process. And then you are tracked into a situation, and the recommendation from the AI will help you collecting also all the information you need to drive that decision. So AI is for us also to reimagine the user experience, how to deal with software. And S4 also need to really go the new paths to really showcase what the next generation of enterprise software is. Not only by embracing these kind of technologies and the new user experience, but also from a new approach how to lead and steer companies. Because, I mean, SAP for the last 48 years was always successful to help our customers to increase the top line, enabling new business models, like the subscription billing, consumption-based billing. For sure, it's always also about to reduce the bottom line, to help optimizing the bottom line with the productivity gains and efficiency and effectiveness with automation, absolutely, without a doubt. But I truly also believe we need to get a different angle in our software, and this is sustainability. So sustainability will not be a side topic separately, but it will be ingrained in our processes, in our data model, and fundamentally also hopefully in the KPIs a company is actually steering a company. So not just financial metrics, but we need to have a value balancing across also non-financial metrics. Like, again, I just talked about the pride we have to accelerate our carbon neutral goal. And this is something, it needs to be part, we need to have an integrated view of a company which defines success in a different manner. And I hope actually that we see this mind shift in decision-making processes step by step going further. I'm convinced actually that this will happen because I see more companies talking about that, more leaders talking about that, more political and governmental organizations talk about it. So I see that everywhere happening. So I really believe that we will be in the right moment to help with our software to actually facilitate it. And this is something where, if you think about it, it's for sure also touching the need actually of today. For sure, climate change is the biggest challenge of humanity, without a doubt, and we all collectively need to act. But also, if you think about the consumers, so purely from a business perspective, consumers change and they expect more sustainable products and offerings. They want to see what is the CO2 footprint. They want to see that because they are more aware, which means it's also a business reason to really invest into your processes to get the carbon footprint down. And also finally, if you think about the employee workplace, the more people joining from the universities, the companies, they actually look for purpose in the company. They look for the values and they look for sustainability as part of that. And that's the reason why it's so important to take that topic important. So if you think about the long-term goal, S/4HANA will be hopefully the modern next level of ERP from a technology perspective, from a business perspective, what ERP means, including dimensions like sustainability, but also network, and I come to network later. And then for sure, from an architecture perspective, it will be modular. We need to simplify the adoption of business capabilities. And that's the reason why you see more and more applications like subscription billing, which we build on a business technology platform, but natively integrated to the S/4HANA core. If you think about the central invoice management, which we build on the business technology platform, natively, again, integrated in S/4HANA, but also natively integrated into Ariba. So you see a pattern, how we get together with a modular approach, leveraging the business technology platform as a foundation, and that's more to come. So it will be a composable ERP that you basically have a future-oriented platform for your business, embracing also new dimensions like sustainability. And that's what I hope that we can do actually, and why I'm so excited to really strive that, because that's our ambition to really lead from that front in the ERP market.
All right, and kind of sticking on with the sustainability and the modular and everything like that, the next question, will we see further RISE bundles, for example, Industry 4.0 or a sustainability-centric version?
I mean, the short and honest answer will be yes. But there's more announcement around the details of that on the arrival at Sapphire. But yes, I mean there will be more around that notion in different flavors coming without a doubt. So I want to be honest here.
All right. Good. Next question. They keep coming in, folks. Remember, you can raise your hand. Somebody give me a signal in the chat or something like that if they have a question they'd like to ask themselves. Otherwise, I will continue here with the ones that have been written. The next question, 20% TCO reduction with RISE is a big statement. How does SAP support its customers in achieving this? Which tools and or services are available to determine this reduction and make it verifiable? Is there a calculator?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, in the end of the day, this depends on the individual situation of each customer, because for sure, you know your TCO, how you run your systems, including the hardware, you have the depreciation cycles you have. I mean, there are tons of determining factors of that. I mean, again, coming from the IT background, this will be an individual customer discussion. In general, and we took many examples of customers which we analyzed, we will come to the 20% TCO reduction. That also has something to do with the scale in which we operate, because for sure we operate thousands of systems for our customers, and with that we have a certain scale, and that by nature helps with regards to the TCO. And this has two aspects. I mean, for sure, automation is a key aspect in which we deeply build into basically in the engineering side in order to operate the systems at scale. This was especially also key for RISE with the ambition we have, that the systems we operate, we need to have a fully automated operations basically in order to get to the TCO levels, margin levels we expect. And secondly, for sure, on the infrastructure side, you certainly get a different discount level in this regards, for instance, from the hyperscalers. The more commitment you can give, and you can assume how much systems and the calculation we have. So that's certainly also on that front, we have some levers as well. So in total, with automation, with how we operate the system, with our scaling structure, that is certainly an important topic. But I think what is even more important for me is that we don't only talk about TCO. RISE should not be just a financial and commercial offering. It's actually more about also the return on investment. And that's actually where we need to also get the communication, because we need to talk about the value of doing all of that, the value of a business transformation, the value of optimizing the business processes. And it was exactly the reason why we bundled together, for instance, the business process intelligence piece to help our customers to constantly on the journey optimize the business processes, to make benchmarks, to optimize it in various reasons, because we will directly integrate the configuration, but also with the business technology platform, which is also bundled. You are able to leverage the intelligent RPA from SAP or the workflow on the platform to create new applications or to optimize the processes as well. And that way you already see that rise from how we structure this is for sure you have S/4HANA Cloud in the center, but we complemented with business process intelligence to help you. We complemented it with the business technology platform for the reason I talked, and also the aspect around the network, because we truly believe actually that in this interconnected global world in which we are, and you see that in this pandemic just on steroids, so to say, how important it is to have the flexibility and agility to change suppliers based on the needs and based on some certain local regulations, lockdowns, and the likes, but also to have this transparency into the supply chain. And that's the reason why we also brought together the network, because in the end of the day, organizations in the future will be networked organizations. And also, to your earlier question with what's the long-term future for S4, it will be naturally that we bring the network and ERP together across a multi-enterprise business, across the network. And that is exactly where we also do start. And that's the reason why for us, it's really more about convincing our customers also on the value side of the house, on return on investment side. And so TCO certainly needs to fit. I mean, without a doubt, we are all under financial pressures, that's clear. But it's even more important the value we get out of that.
Right. And considering how complicated of a process that could be per customer, I'm pretty proud to work in a company that's actually committed to it. So that's a really cool thing. Oh. All right. So another one just shot up the list. The one I was about to ask has actually just been knocked down the list by this one. So I'll ask this one next. Software is the same, S/4HANA on-premise, in private or public?
That's also quite frankly a deep question.
We didn't say it was going to be easy.
That's good. I love it. That's good. No, I mean for S/4HANA, I mean technically speaking, I'm the right audience for that. I mean technically speaking, we have one code line of S/4HANA, but for sure we have basically two derivations that we have certain additional cloud enablement and cloud capabilities in the public cloud. Like if you go the S/4HANA cloud way, it is a fully multi-tenant version. You have a business configuration layer on top, so not accessing the customizing right away in the system, and different other means, all web-based for sure and the likes. And in the private edition version, then for sure you have different means, also leveraging the backend GUI capabilities like the SE80 and the SPRO and the likes to customize and configure the system. So different kind of cloud qualities in this regards. And this is a difference. And in the cloud, in the S/4HANA cloud itself, there for sure one key aspect for us is that we basically give the customers, that we are not giving the customers the opportunity to basically access the code itself, because we need to keep the code entirely clean, that we can basically upgrade your systems. And there we also invested for sure heavily into zero downtime maintenance processes and upgrade processes at scale in a multi-tenant environment to facilitate it at scale. So there are slight differences for various reasons, but from a code line perspective, it's one code line. And that's also the reason why you will see and hear more about that at Sapphire, how we now with what we do with the business configuration are able to basically enable the full scope of S/4HANA also in the S/4HANA Cloud edition by middle of the year as well.
All right. Sapphire is definitely something to stay tuned to. It sounds like a lot of cool announcements. Sounds like they're brewing. Yeah. All right. So our next question.
A little bit of excitement for Sapphire already, and there's way more to come.
It really does sound like it. I'm getting pretty excited. So this should be really cool for us. And of course, in the current situation, more people will be able to find out right as it all happens. So that's really kind of cool. So next question up, our core systems are still business suites, ERP, CRM, ISU, which are running on AnyDB, non-HANA. What would be SAP recommendation roadmap for these systems with these BTP service?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure about the BTP services in this regards, but in general, the recommendation is clear that for sure a move towards S/4HANA is the right approach to stay on the latest and modern platform, to stay on top of the innovation and the new kind of business models we enable and the likes. So move towards S/4HANA is certainly the recommendation. With other aspects like CRM, for sure, always the question also how to move that to the cloud, in which ways. So certainly more on this regards. But yeah, the recommendation would be again to go to the latest versions of our portfolio.
All right. So, and the next question up, what role does the industry cloud play in the RISE scenario and in the customer journey?
I think this is a very interesting question because the industry cloud itself and all applications we build or the partner build part of the industry cloud are on the business technology platform, which means as it's bundled into the RISE offering, you have the opportunity to basically just also, basically commercially enable the industry cloud applications and then basically also can consume it and bring it together. So basically you have the foundation of the industry cloud fundamentally as part of the offering, but for sure commercially there are some different packages in this regard. But yes, the foundation is part of it. And as I mentioned earlier, you will also see some more industry flavors where parts of this is then automatically connected basically throughout the course of the year.
All right. The next, again, the questions are jumping around on the screen as people are voting for them. The next one up is, this is one that I definitely would love to hear the answer for myself. How PS consultant can upskilling to and be ready for the future with RISE with SAP?
Yeah. This is a good question. And I mean, this is something where for us, it's in general important how we do the training and enablement and learning at scale also. That is very important. And we actually will definitively launch dedicated training sessions. And then we also need to consider that RISE as an offering, as I mentioned, entails multiple angles. And then the question is also slightly a little bit how you specialize, or if you really want to tackle all of the aspects, and that's for sure and also to be personally decided in this regard. But absolutely, we will offer dedicated training levers for RISE, absolutely.
And folks, the SAP community is always there for you, so as well as learning.sap.com and open.sap.com. So be sure to check those out and see those different offerings as they become available. All right, so the next question, I'm always pausing a moment just to give it a chance to settle and not jump around on the screen on me. Here we go. Will the SAP industry solutions be available in SAP Cloud Platform only, or can the customer run one or another in any hyperscaler?
For the industry cloud, as I mentioned, all the applications we build for the industry cloud will be based on the business technology platform, and also our partners leverage the business technology platform as a foundation. One of the reasons why is for sure also the one domain model which we will expose in the business technology platform to have the right setup to build the applications. With that, for sure, the business technology platform is the foundation for the industry cloud solutions, but the business technology platform is also hyperscaler agnostic. So basically based on the choice of the customer, we can deploy the respective services on the hyperscaler of your choice. But again, the foundation or layer between is, so to say, the business technology platform as an abstraction, kind of as an abstraction layer as well. Yeah.
All right. All right, so give it a second here just to see if there's any more voting before I ask the next question. My screen is a little, hang on a second. I've got a little bit of a glitch here. Here's the next question I see. Do you see RISE having a bigger impact in winning NNN or in the S/4HANA Move program? If there had to be priority between these two, what should it be?
So NNN is net new names, correct?
Yeah, thank you.
and RISE will actually have an impact on both, and that's actually the interesting piece, because as I mentioned, RISE will entail S/4HANA Cloud, or will also offer the private edition as an option. And in this regard, it's fit for net new names with S/4HANA Cloud, but also for complex, large existing installed base customers and ECC customers as a vehicle to move to the cloud and to S/4HANA. RISE is therefore, with the private edition, also a valid option. And in this regard, it will help the overall movement with regards to ERP. And that's the reason why both are intended in this regards.
Okay. And thank you for clarifying NNN. I'll have to remember that one for the next time.
You know, in my private skill list, the skills for acronyms at SAP, I'm very good.
I usually have a cheat sheet with me. I just didn't. That one wasn't on it. So definitely.
This is more the sales side. I think you have more the development side acronyms then.
Yeah, no, I do. I actually do have more of the development side. Yeah, my development with SAP goes back to the first acronym I learned from it was BSP.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is still near and dear to my heart.
Business server pages. I tell you something. At business server pages, as I started as a CRM consultant, and here for sure, business server pages are basically the part of the UI. So certainly also in this regards, I'm fully with you here. Still recall the transaction code in CRM to actually change the BSPs. It was a quite long transaction code, I have to admit.
Yeah, that was my gateway into the SAP world. I guess you could call it the gateway drug for me. I went from a web developer background, and the company said, "Here, there's this new thing called NetWeaver, and they have something about BSP, which is like JSP," and that was the end of the journey for me. And I've been SAP all the way ever since. So definitely a cool times there. All right, here we go. Next one up. Let me make sure I answered that last one. Yes. The next one up. Don't you see the danger to be fully dependent to hyperscalers who are at the same time our competitors by putting all our applications data and the data of our customer on their platforms? Are some measures in place that after a few years, they don't request SAP to pay 10 times more for their platform and services?
I think SAP is not dependent on any hyperscaler, first of all, because as I laid out, our solutions, our applications and platform runs on multiple hyperscalers. So we have a multi-cloud strategy in this regards, and that's the reason there's no dependency on one of the hyperscalers. And I think that's very important. And with that, for sure, we also can have a competitiveness between the hyperscalers for the SAP business they also want to get, which is also something which we should not forget in that part of the question. With regards to the data, I mean, this is actually a very important topic, because there are certainly companies with business models which basically want to get more and more data, and they make money based on the consumption of the data size in the end of the day. And actually, this is where actually our approach to that is slightly different, because if you think about SAC as an example, our analytics solution, where we basically want to have a live access on the data itself in the backend system, that we don't have the need to transfer data to a central storage or whatever. And for sure, this is costly. Not only the transfer of the data costs money, the storage of the redundant data costs money, but think about the security aspects, the data protection aspects of that, the multiple complexities. And that's actually our approach is different, that we basically, if you leverage, for instance, analytics solution of SAP, you can have the data in your SAP systems locally and process the stuff there, and without the need to replicate data. And I think we all, if you think about the pricing of the hyperscalers, of some of the competitors in the data warehouse cloud space and so on, they basically have a consumption-based model, which is very attractive in the beginning, but sometimes, and I hear a lot of CIOs complaining after a couple of years, how this consumption model is actually driving a significant cost base, leveraging such kind of things from the hyperscalers or some competitors. And there we have a different approach, and that's the reason why I believe it's a good strategy for our customers. It's a very customer-centric strategy, yeah. So that's the reason I'm convinced that that this is the right way. And again, no dependency on a hyperscaler.
All right. Good. All right. Hang on. The screens keep shifting for me. I'm not sure why. If I am a long-standing SAP service partner who has a small and medium-sized customers in a specific industry, such as the chemical industry, how can I participate in RISE and contribute?
That is a very good question, because if you think about RISE and the offering of RISE, I mean, what we on purpose did actually for sure, that actually if you think about the application services itself, the customizations of some certain features, this is something where exactly service partners need to help our customers on the journey, on the transformation itself, on the migrations and the like. So there's a plenty of opportunities actually to participate the RISE movement. And actually it's a huge opportunity for partners, because we will see more and more customers moving with RISE. And that for sure generates a lot of opportunity. We even hear from some user groups that we already see a lack of resources in the market for S/4HANA based on the amount of projects and new projects which are coming. So I believe as a service partner, this is a super opportunity actually to help our customers. And again, the skills are certainly scarce in the market, and so I really appreciate and would welcome your support here.
All right, and then this next question brings another piece of history for me back. It's all about SAP Solution Manager, so Solman. It was also one of the areas that I was quite invested in when I first ventured into the SAP space. The question is, what are the new features that we are going to see from application point of view with SAP Solution Manager or Charm?
With regards to the Solution Manager, this is also something where we also especially now focus on the cloud with our Cloud Application Lifecycle Management application, which we launched to really build and operate and run your SAP environments and projects fundamentally. And this is something where we will complement now also leveraging Signavio, for instance, in this regards, to complement various aspects of that. And that's where you see certainly more, especially also how we leverage the KPIs, which you know from Solution Manager, like the business process monitoring KPIs, and also with Signavio. So there will be a lot of focus on that regards as well, how to take synergies in this as well. Yeah.
All right, the next one just jumped to the top of the list. What is the future of SAP Business by Design? Thanks.
I mean, the future of business by design, I mean, we have a roadmap out there. We deliver on the roadmap. So it's certainly something where we will continue to move on in that regard. So there's no change in strategy in this regard. So we have Business One for the real small enterprises, with Business by Design for the smaller mid-sized companies, and then for sure S/4HANA as an ERP on top, basically. Yeah.
Okay. And for anybody interested, yesterday we had a call with Faye and Simona around AI and machine learning, and Business by Design was featured with some live demos. That is also a recording that you guys can catch from yesterday's call. So really cool stuff coming in Business by Design in there as well. All right, next question up. Industry solutions like IS utilities, not industry cloud, can be added in S/4HANA PCE RWP. What is the roadmap for IS solutions? So that's testing your acronym knowledge there.
Yeah, that's all good. No, I think with regards to ISU, I mean, That's basically following the S/4HANA strategy in general with regards to add-ons and the compatibility packs which we have fundamentally, and that will be then also for sure available in the private edition of S4 in the cloud. And in general, with regards to roadmaps, we have dedicated roadmaps for each industry, which is including for sure all aspects like our on-premise products, but also on our cloud products, including the new industry cloud roadmap. And that's all what you can find on the sap.com/roadmaps. So the roadmap explorer is really a great tool also to filter down on the industry itself of your need. And I think there's a really detailed feature level roadmap then available for the dedicated industries.
All right. All right, the next question up. A little bit more of a personal question, I think, but here we go. With Rise with SAP, where do you see SAP Basis consultant role going forward, given most of the OS DB layer is taken over by SAP and Basis are only left with the SAP layer?
I mean, this is certainly an aspect which is fairly true, that in the Rise offering, SAP is taking on the technical operations, and then the SAP Basis is part of that. That's a true statement here, and for sure. I mean, Rise is just one vehicle. As I also mentioned, even I think one and a half years ago in the German-speaking user group conference, that also on-premise is strategic for SAP. In the ERP arena with S4, and if you think about our customers, we also have more than 16,000 customers on S4, and also for sure on-premise customers here. So there will be certainly an increased demand also for Basis consultants in that angle, because this will also grow, and we see that, by the way, also in Q1. I mean, I cannot share the numbers, but we see absolutely and growth in this regard as well. So there will be no shortage. And as I mentioned, overall, there's a shortage of SAP skills in general. So I hope that this is not having any concern in this regard.
All right, thank you. All right, next question? So live shows, Okay, so with the composable approach Thomas alluded to, how long before this is a drag and drop approach directly from the BPI tools?
That's a good question, Simon. I mean, a drag and drop approach with regards to bringing together entire business capabilities, as I mentioned. I mean, this is certainly something which I consider will be a more future forward-looking statement. So I'm not entirely sure about a date. So if I think every timeline I would mention in a drag and drop business capability stitching together perspective will be a couple of years, I guess, when it's really in a drag and drop way. And therefore, again, coming back to the service partners, we are happy to have service partners as part, because that certainly will be a key aspect also in the future.
All right. The next two questions are somewhat related. I will ask them independently, though. What is the future enhancement planned with Rise with SAP services?
Again, there will be more coming with Rise, and the only important piece is for me that when we announce it finally and officially, that basically we also really everything is in place and executable. That's the reason why for certain things which we have in mind for Rise also in the future, we need to do our homework first, because it's not just a commercial offering. We also need to be able to deliver and operate it at scale. And that's the reason we always need to also think about the automation and the delivery aspects on our end. And that's the reason why we'll see more throughout the course of the year. But I think, stay tuned. Sapphire will be big.
And I'm going to make the assumption, but just in case you can say anything in addition to this one, the next question is, are you planning to include HR in Rise with SAP bundle in the future? I would assume it's probably the same answer, but just in case.
Yeah, basically the same answer.
Okay. All right. So folks, stay tuned for Sapphire. I think it's going to kind of blow our minds. All right, so next question up, and I think I still have time. I think we're about 10 minutes still, so we definitely have some time for a couple more questions. Next one up, will RISE bring more harmonization of capabilities provided by S/4HANA procurement and intelligent spend management, Ariba, Fieldglass, Concur, so that the user gets more unified user experience regardless of the product?
Yeah, that is a very good question, because this is exactly where we are working on under our One Procurement project, to really bring together the best of all of the worlds in a step-by-step approach to have a more harmonized user experience, bringing together various business capabilities. And so there's certainly step-by-step more to come with regards to turning into an intelligent spend overall, leveraging again the right business capabilities. That's the reason why I'm so much talking about the word business capability, because exactly as the questionnaire actually asked here, in regards to intelligent spend, for sure, we have capabilities in our S/4HANA world, we have capabilities in Concur, Ariba, Fieldglass, and we will leverage it and bring that more together. But that will be a seamless and transparent process for our customers, and we will absolutely bet on the strengths of the solutions. Like, we are clearly, with regards to Ariba, super successful in if you think about the customer base we have, to continue to also invest significantly in all of these best of breed capabilities, but we bring it together as a Swedish approach with our One Procurement initiative. So rest assured that we will invest in all of these solutions and continue to invest with a lot of innovations in all of these solutions, but we bring that together step by step, and you will see more examples where you then also feel how the experience is coming together, integration gets deeper, new capabilities which are leveraged by all of these applications, so that it's really a seamless evolution of the portfolio, which is very important for me, because again, also here, customers are on a different point of departure. We have customers who run S4 and Ariba, we have customers who have Ariba and Fieldglass, and we need to make it work in each of the occasions. And that's what we actually do. So for all of these solutions, a very clear message: we double down on innovations, you can be assured. So definitively the right thing.
Right. A lot of people out there may not realize, but internally we're using the same tools. So we're kind of like the big giant beta test pool. I was myself in two of those tools today, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to those innovations myself.
let the feedback come, Greg. Let the feedback come.
It was actually, I have to honestly say, from last year to this year, total difference in experience. So I definitely like the direction that I see things are going from my as a user myself. So really cool. All right, so moving on to the next question. I want to make sure I get a couple more in. The next one, Signavio is a very good solution and suitable for RISE. My question, Signavio can do the modeling of the processes. How are the Signavio solutions integrated with S/4HANA Cloud, or what is the roadmap for this?
Yeah, but thank you for the question, because this is exactly where we are working on, that we bring the process and the modeling aspect, documentation and modeling aspect together with the configuration, with the benchmarking, the process mining. So all of this will come together. So that's the holistic approach about a business transformation suite approach, which we take with business process intelligence. And this is exactly the point, that we bring together fundamentally. I mean, you can start a process mining with Signavio, get the full as-is analysis of the processes, which they then also document as part of the modeling and documentation capabilities. And with that, then we also connect this with the best practices, and again, the standard functionality and configuration of S4. That's also the reason why we then can also then basically identify, if you, for instance, run an ECC system, you do the analysis, that you can match it to how this process actually would look like in S4HANA on the latest version with the latest innovation, and what that value would get out of this process. A very system-based approach to get to the value, and that's also was actually one of the important aspects for us to make it more transparent about the value, and quite frankly, to also help our customers to really work on the business process redesign, because this is super hard. I mean, to change processes in companies and to argue for process change is hard. This is change management. And I think therefore it's even more important that you have a fact-based data set where you can then also convince the different businesses, line of businesses, to follow that path.
All right. So as I was just refreshing the list, there's a question in that said, thanks, Sapphire, with the answer. So yeah, just a comment there, I guess, not really a question, but
I mean, some things I for sure. I mean, I guess I'm already quite open, quite frankly, in this call for a lot of things, but I think for sure some of the topics will have some waiting time for Sapphire.
Yeah. All right. So here's one, the next one up for you. Where do you see the dusk of Solution Manager in context of ALM with the waking of the SAP ALM cloud?
I mean, in the end of the day, we basically have for sure customers who have Solution Manager, hopefully 7.2, the latest releases, and but then for sure in the cloud, and also especially for the cloud purpose, there's cloud ALM, and for sure we bring that together over time, and there's a possibility. But yeah, I think we perhaps should do a follow-up community call, because I saw a couple of questions on cloud ALM and Solution Manager. With Mark Thier, Wieland Schreiner, and Andreas Heckmann and the likes to really explain the detailed portfolio in this regard.
We would love to have them on and do a follow-up call specifically around those topics. That would be fantastic. Thank you. All right. So, all right. Next one up is also around upskilling. I know we touched on the topic earlier. So, but what are the implications of RISE on functional consultancy skills? How should we reskill or upskill consultants? And I know you touched on this a little bit, but if there's anything in addition you'd like to add.
I mean, for functional consultants, solution consultants, business process consultants in this regards, however we phrase this activity, therefore sure there's a tremendous need actually, because exactly this functional consultancy to implement the systems, to extend it and evolve it. This is exactly what is required in all of these journeys actually, and this is something where actually we need even more to help our customers on their journey and on their business transformation. And that's exactly what RISE is supporting. So I think it's spot on. And as I mentioned earlier, I mean, exactly the skill of functional consultants in S4 is certainly a scarcity where we need to broaden the skills to really help our customers with their projects, with the tremendous amount of projects which we see in the market. Yeah, so I think spot on. Yeah.
All right, and we're right near the end. There are one or two questions still in there, but I do want to give Thomas you a moment to be able to kind of give some closing thoughts and things like that. For any question that we didn't get to, maybe not the one where it says just that Sapphire is the answer. We will come back into the community to do some follow-ups. You've already heard that we will look to see if we can get a follow-up call around Solution Manager and ALM as well. So, but Thomas, since we're at just about a minute and a half left, I'd love to give you a chance to have some closing thoughts.
I mean, from my side, just thanks so much for joining the call. It was a pleasure for me. Great questions. So thanks for the engagement and for the openness. Really looking forward also already to the next call. And let's keep engaged. Let's keep in touch. And I'm very grateful for all of your support, which we have here, because without the community, SAP would not succeed in every aspect. And that's the reason why. Thank you so much. And for sure, stay safe and healthy.
Thank you very much, Thomas. And thank you everyone for staying tuned with us. The recording will be available shortly hereafter. Thank you very much. And from my side as well, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, Thomas.
See you. Ciao.